The Pediatric Lounge, a podcast taking you behind the door of the physician's lounge to get a deeper insight into just what docs are talking about today. From the clinically profound to the wonderfully routine and everything in between.
Well, welcome once again to the Pediatric Lounge. With us today is Dr. Sean Luvchuck, who is a board-certified pediatrician and board-certified pediatric interventional cardiologist. He will be sharing with us the stories of an independent pediatric cardiology practice in Long Island and his rescue surgery of a young Ukrainian child during the war. Please help us welcome him today. Hi, George. How are you this morning?
How you doing, Herb? It's Tuesday morning, once again, elevating great physicians. And today we're going to elevate Dr. Sean Luvchuck, a pediatric cardiologist from Long Island here and fellow musician. He played in a band with me for a big fundraiser last year for Good Samaritan Hospital. Welcome, Sean.
Thanks. Great to be here. Great. Yes, I enjoyed that music.
Yeah.
Enjoyed being in the band. That was the highlight of my music career.
Sean, so you have a very, very interesting career path. Not only you're a pediatrician, you're a pediatric cardiologist, you're a keyboardist, you're an excellent fundraiser. So thanks for taking time off your busy day today to join us in the lounge.
Thank you. Thanks for the invitation.
I think one more thing that you forgot to mention is he is a pediatric cardiologist, but he's totally independent, a private practice cardiology, correct?
Yes, sir. Staying on the boat, not jumping into the
ocean.
The ocean.
Why did you become a pediatrician, Sean?
Well, I knew pretty much early on when I was going to pursue a career in medicine that I never saw myself taking care of adults. I always loved the idea of taking care of children. And that really is, to me, I always felt that with kids, you have an opportunity to make an impact on their lives and you become part of their lives. And that's really what I think being, a pediatrician's all about. We take care of the whole child. We want to see them grow up. We want to see them healthy. We don't treat, pediatricians don't treat, one disease or another. They do, but we also like to treat the child and we like to treat the family and we would like to be part of their lives. And I think that's a very unique thing. And, that pediatric people have, we have big hearts. And I think, I think that's why I loved the idea of pediatrics always.
Yeah, we still have that thing that's called the physician-patient relationship, believe it or not, pediatrics.
We do.
And what is it like being a cardiologist, especially a pediatric cardiologist? Is it very rewarding today?
It's very rewarding. I think it's it's an extension of the whole idea of a physician-patient relationship, and I think we take these families and children through some very stressful and difficult times, and we get them through to the other side where, for the most part, they go on to live good lives. And we treat them, we treat their issues, we take care of their cardiac issues, and then we're counselors for the families too. So yes, it's very rewarding. I've been to a lot of weddings and a lot of events for many of my patients, and I love it.
And you must have a great relationship with other pediatricians in the community. Is that also rewarding?
That's one of the most special things. I think as pediatricians, we have a very good fraternal relationship with each other. Many of the adult guys, they walk down the hall of the hospital and I see it, they don't even acknowledge each other. But pediatricians, we're all a family. We all help out. Everybody's a part of the puzzle of taking care of a child, and we all have each other's back always. I don't think there's a pediatrician that I know that I couldn't call at 2 a.m. and say I have a problem, that they wouldn't drop to come and help. And I feel that way about every other pediatrician that I work with. And I think pediatricians are special people. They have big hearts and they love what they do. And I think that lends itself to a great relationship amongst each other. We all get along. We all pitch in.
Absolutely. And how many cardiologists are in your group now?
We have 4. We just happily got a new young one to kind of come in and start to transition away from us old timers. And we have myself, Dr. Doug Luxembourg, who's my immediate junior, and then Dr. Ambrose Vallone, who's the senior most guy, who's kind of, on the last couple of years of his career.
Excellent. And just so to level set for those that are not pediatrics or physicians, luckily in pediatric cardiology, most of it is benign disease, innocent heart murmurs, a lot of that, and then some really, really tough disease, correct?
Correct. And where I'm in a unique position, and probably Dr. Vallone, my senior most partner, could also talk about it, how the profession has transitioned from the days, when I first started fellowship in 1992, there were times where you just couldn't do anything. And that's really not the case anymore. We have the surgeons, the young guys, the invasive guys and things like that. They can do a lot of great things with kids that normally in the previous years couldn't be helped, and they're good at it. And so we're getting these kids to palliated or cured so that they can live somewhat of a fulfilling life.
Wow. And how does it feel to help young children in need in general?
Well, that's there's nothing better than helping somebody, and especially when you're helping them through such a difficult time. No young child wants to have a heart issue. No young child wants to be told they can't do anything, or they can't do this, or they can't, or just that they themselves can't keep up. So I think in this case of something like this, it's the best thing when you can help these children and their families. And at the end of the day, they come up and they say, well, I feel great. Or they come in with their report cards, or they come in with their, little league trophies, and they show me that, hey, listen, I'm fixed now. And look, I just won, this, and I did that, and I played. And it's the most rewarding thing. That's what makes pediatrics so special.
Yeah, I have a question for you about your office. It always amazed me how you guys are totally private and independent practice when all around us, I mean, I've seen when I came out in 96 to Long Island, I think it was one cardiology group.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, 1 million cardiologists appear. I mean, how many functional murmurs can there be?
Yeah.
But everybody seems to be owned by A or B or C, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, how are you guys surviving? It has to be difficult going. I mean, you have to be on staff at 1 million hospitals.
Yeah, we do. I think, it goes by the 3 rules, affable, available, and able. I think that we survive because we pick up the phone, we call our patients, my girls answer the phone. There's no automated voice message. You don't have to hit prompts. You call the office. If you call, and my friend, from when you call, if you have a question, I'll come right to the phone. I think that's how we survive. I think one of the motivations for us to keep doing this is because being in private practice enables us to do the charitable things that are so important to this practice. So, and we march to our own drummer. We work Saturdays, we work weekends. I'm on call sometimes 4 or 5 nights in a row. I'll go to hospitals. I'll do whatever it takes. What did Derek Jeter say? There are going to be people that are better than you in ability, but nobody should outwork you. And, we work hard. We work hard because we work for our patients. I don't work for Northwell. I don't work for Mount Sinai. I work for the patient that George sends me. He sends me that patient. I work for him, for them. I'm going to do my very best. And I'm not looking at, an administrator coming in. I'm looking at that kid saying, I'm going to work for this kid, and I'm going to get this kid what he needs.
Wow. That's a true doctor. What is it? It's a shame that, especially I think the adult specialists have lost that ethos of the patient is my master.
And I
Wonderful.
see the adults, they don't even talk to each other anymore. They just write notes.
Yeah, yeah. You
I
know,
mean, it's crazy.
it's not the way it's not the way, it's not what pediatrics is. We're holding on. I think we're holding on, and I think someday there's going to be a resurgence of that, of the old way of doing things, because people demand it and they like it. The patients like it. They love coming to the same place. They see Marty, my echo tech, and Laura, the echo tech, and the girls. It's a very familiar and comfortable place. And I don't think that the big organizations get it, nor do they want to get it. They look at it as though, oh, you're seeing this, well, you could see more, let's cut this person out. Let's cut the chatter out. Well, I like the chatter with patients. That's what's great. I love hearing about these the kids and their days and their teachers and how their summer vacations were. That's what makes this profession great.
Again, the relationship, I guess.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
relationship.
unfortunately, I mean, that's good, the chatter and all that kind of stuff. I agree with you. Sometimes doctors take it to the extreme, and then they wonder why they're behind schedule, because they just keep chattering.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I know a couple
Guilty.
of those.
So I had one, when you speak of that, and I learned a lesson as a patient. I was it took my mom to a physician, and he's a friend of mine. And as I was waiting, and it's all women, as I'm waiting in the waiting room, all the women waiting to see him are like, yeah, he's running behind. Probably he'll see us an hour and a half late or so. And the other woman turns around and says to the other woman, the waiting room, is, I'm totally okay, because when it's my turn, he's going to answer every question and spend as much time as he needs to spend on my problem. So if I have to wait 2 hours, I'll wait 2 hours, because when it's my turn, he really cares about me. It was such an epiphany, right? I'm always stressed about not spending too much time in the room and being efficient and seeing patients on time. If you're good and you care about your patient, people don't really care if they wait a little bit, because they know when it's their turn, they get your whole attention and you're there for them.
Absolutely.
And that's very important. Now, I understand you had a wonderful experience and you had the ability to take care of a girl that came from Ukraine. Can you
Yes.
share this story with us?
It was really quite an amazing story. And, it goes back to April. I was in the kitchen, having the morning coffee about 7:30. And I look and I see this weird number come across the phone, with the plus in front of it. And I'm like, I have no idea what that is. I ignore it. And then it comes again. And this time it's FaceTime. I said, all right, well, this one I got to pick up. I hit on it. And it's a doctor from the Ukraine who, is in like a room with nothing around it. And he introduces himself. He said, I was given your number by the organization called The Gift of Life. And, maybe you can help me. And he said, I have a 9-year-old little girl here that was going to have surgery on her atrial septal defect. But with the war going on, the power grid is not reliable enough to do a procedure, because if the power cuts out mid-operation, they don't have the means to, they don't know when it's going to turn on or turn off, and their generators are not reliable enough to do anything like that. He said, would you be able to help? And I said, yeah, no problem. He turned the phone onto the computer screen, and I looked at the size of the defect, and I said, I can treat this minimally invasively. I could treat this through the groin, because I can do that for that particular defect. He said, great, we'll talk about, trying to raise some money. I said, you didn't raise any money. I said, I'll donate my services. I went to the hospital. I got them to donate their end of it. And the Gift of Life International was helped arrange the transport, because they had a connection in the consulate in Poland who met the family at the Ukraine-Poland border and walked the mother and the daughter through immigration to get her into Poland. And then, they flew her here, and, we were able to help out.
Wow.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
That's pretty amazing.
You said she's 9 years old?
9 years old. Yeah, she did
Wow.
great.
How did you convince the hospital to donate?
Well, they have a long relationship at St. Francis with the Gift of Life, and I have been doing these cases for them since 1997, when the guy that was doing it, a guy named Zoltan Mesko, retired. And when Mesko retired, and Damus retired from doing open hearts, I was really pretty good at doing these minimally invasive procedures for certain types of defects. And I said, listen, we can keep the ball rolling with the gift of life. And we were doing about 10 or 12 a year, not making a big deal about it. They'd come in, I do my thing, I donate, the hospital donates the kid, everything's good. And, they had enough money in the kitty at St. Francis to kind of keep it going on their end. And, and then COVID hit and it shut everything down. And we really didn't think it was going to get back going again. And, happily this, kind of was the nice thing to get it all up and running.
That's nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a wonderful story.
Yeah.
Right.
Paulina did great. I text the mother all the time and she's happy. She's going to school in Poland and, she's like a happy little kid.
Wow.
You saved somebody's life.
Yeah, just helping out.
Yeah, it's very interesting. How I heard about this was I was watching the local news and they do an interview with you and about this little girl from Ukraine. Said, hey, I know that guy.
The keyboard player.
He's a keyboard player in my band.
And so would you share with us more about what the gift of life is and what your involvement in this organization is and how we can help?
Well, the Gift of Life is an organization that began at St. Francis 47 years ago when the Manhasset Rotary Club was contacted by somebody in Uganda that said, hey, we have a child here with a congenital heart defect. Can you help? And a guy named Robbie Dono, who's still involved with the Gift of Life, went to St. Francis and said, hey, listen, we'll get the kid here. Would you be willing to help? The director of Pediatric Cardiology at the time was a guy named Filippo Balboni, who's really a legend in the world of pediatric cardiology. He started this relationship with this, and so it's run out of the Rotary groups and kind of is spread to a lot of different states. And, ultimately what's happened with the Gift of Life now is that over the years, we've gone out and actually trained other countries to do it. So in the old days, everybody came here. Now, many of the countries that we used to see kids from now can do it on their own, which is really what you want anyway. It's so much more cost effective. So it's been a great program. It's really a wonderful thing. And, they have their wells that they hit for fundraising. So, what we always say is, if you want to support the Gift of Life, just keep your ears to the ground. If there's children in disadvantaged countries, we're here to try and help.
Wow. And when you say you go out and train, do you train other pediatric cardiologists or?
Yes, they do medical missions where we'll send a surgical team over to train their guys. In my end, it's more train. I had a group from for an international group here about 2 years ago, right, 2.5, right before COVID, that actually I spent several weeks with here, training them on how to do the minimally invasive repair, which was just, which was great. They were Hungarian doctors and they didn't have this technology there. So rather than go there and try and deal with bringing supplies there, they came here, they did 20 or 30 cases with me, adults, kids, everything. And now that they're getting their programs going. So it's really been good.
Oh, wow. Well, I have a friend who I went to medical school and she practices in Aruba and she's a pediatric infectious disease. And when I talked to her, it just blows your mind. It's mind boggling. They get, they have 5 pediatricians on the island. They give chemotherapy. They do intensive care. They do the NICU. And she says, we can't be sending a patient to Holland or to Colombia to get, their chemo. We talked to the oncologist in Holland, and they said this is what the kid needs, and we send the slides out there for the pathology, and we handle the everything else in our end.
Yeah, that's the way, that's the best way to do it. It's always better to keep everybody independent.
Yeah, it's amazing. So different from the way we practice here. You know, can you imagine giving chemo? or me trying to fix an ASD in a patient? Oh dear. Oh, so you lived a really wonderful life, full of joy, full of giving. Um, and what lessons do you have for younger pediatricians that are starting out and are going independent? Because like you, they want to be in service of the patient, not the
Well,
institution.
I think that's, they always have to keep in mind is that, if if you put the patient first, you win every time. For me, it's always been about that. I get a little choked up because, I've had a lot of patients and a lot of people that really believed that, and stayed with me through this. It's really easy to go to Northwells or to Columbia's and to say, I'm gonna, but, we've all supported each other. And I would tell the young people, if you make the patient and the family your priority, people will find you and they'll always want to come to you.
Wonderful lesson.
Agreed.
Wonderful
Agreed.
lesson. Well, is there anything I haven't asked you that you think is important for the audience to hear?
No, I think that she probably covered everything.
Well, thank you for your time, but most of all,
Thank you.
thank you for being an example of what a great human being should be and what we should all aspire to be, to build up the next generation.
Of people.
And you're a wonderful example of that.
He's a great guy.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I
Thank
look
you.
forward
I
to.
think what we have to do, Sean, is let's get that band back together. Let's.
I'm
do a
ready.
fundraiser for the gift of life.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
it
like
just
the
needs a place.
idea. And yeah, we pick a set list, pick songs. I'll
Yeah,
work on getting it for Gift of Life
Yeah,
fundraiser.
we'll work on that. I mean, I've done so many fundraisers with musicians, and the doctor musician fundraisers always are a hit.
Yeah,
It's never a failure.
it's a lot of fun.
We'll get you the band. We just need a venue and a place to do it.
I'll work on it.
Talk to the
I'm in.
folks. You get the gift of life involved, and I'll get you your musicians.
You got it.
All right.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you, guys.
Take care. Have a great day in the
Thanks
office.
for a great day. Thank you so
All
much.
right. Bye-bye.
Take care.